Right, in this part of the tutorials, we're going to look at making a background with the tiles, and so making it look more realistic. Now, it's important to know right now we've been using room 0, and that's sort of been our testing room. So what we can do, you can leave that as your testing room, and I would suggest this for when you're doing your actual game, is to have a testing room. So now we'll start, now that we've tested all the Kiwi's basic movements, we'll add a real room with a real background, and we can leave that testing room to try things out. So I am going to right away, right now, create a room, and on this one, name of the room, we're going to call this level 1. Caption for the room, Kiwi Kai. Click OK. We'll go back and do something to that. Now you can rearrange the order of your rooms, and I'm actually going to rename this one Room Test. So that's going to just serve as our testing room. Now by reordering those, when I start the game, it'll start at this room, the first one, level 1. If I want to test out something new, I can reorder it, try it in that room, and then add that to the other room. So keep your testing rooms, that way you don't muddle up your actual levels of your game. So in level 1, first of all, we need to create some backgrounds. So we're going to have a background forest. And that's just going to be a regular background. And we're going to have another background. And this one's going to serve as our tile set. So we can call this one background, I'm going to call it forest tiles. And its graphic is under tiles PNG. On this one, if we say use as a tile set, you'll see you get it divided up into squares. So each one of these we can place in different locations. The other thing about a tile set is that you can sort of build, you can build different parts, but it's going to use less memory than having a separate background for every level. So I can use these same tiles over and over again in a variety of ways. So this one has already been split into 16 by 16 and separated by 1 pixel border. And that border will help you to separate your tiles and see where they are. So we need a horizontal step and a vertical step of 1. We've got using as a tile set. And you can see now we've got our little squares that we can use for tree limbs and our tree trunks, etc. So in that level 1 room, the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to add, because I've already given it a caption and a name under the background. For this, we're going to give it our forest background. And then we want to use the tiles tab, and we're going to put tiles in the room in the way that we would with other objects. But first what we need to do is decide how we want our level to look. So we can put in our different tiles, and then what we'll do is we'll put our objects, and we'll put our objects over the top of them. So if I go over to my tiles, and I can create, if I get a tree trunk tile, basically, whoops, wasn't too good with the mouse there. Delete those other ones. So now I can have a tree trunk going up the side, and that can serve sort of as a barrier, a visual barrier. I might have a tree trunk going up the middle. Again, a little wonky with my mousing. To fix that up. Trying to go too quickly for this tutorial. And I might have another visual barrier to the side. Of a tree trunk. I can get another those other tiles, creating the top of the tree. Other things I can do with my tile set. This can serve as our bottom, as our dirt. Just go ahead and cover up that. We can also add in a few mounds of dirt, more realistic. Just building up the scene. And you can add some more of those in as you wish. And also we need to add in some tree trunks, and those tree trunks are going to serve as our platforms. Or tree branches, I should say. Shorter platform. And I'm just going to stop there for now so we don't spend too much time on this part of the tutorial. The next thing we need to do is cover those up with our actual blocks. Now, those won't show up in the real game, our letters and our blocks, but we need our objects, so our Kiwi object can't actually collide with these tiles because they're in the background. But it does collide with the blocks, so we put the blocks as a barrier, and those are the things that your Kiwi is actually going to collide with. So if I have my ladder object, I would place that and run that in the same point as my tree. And so that the Kiwi has some platforms and some barriers from getting outside of the room, I need to put in a block, and I'll put those in the same locations as my tree trunk. I'll tidy up those other blocks in a moment. I also need block objects over my side platforms. So the Kiwi has somewhere to jump. I may need to just add in one extra little platform out from the side of the tree. So I'll put my tiles there to mark where that should go, and then I'll put my platform or block object over the top. Now, right now when I test the room, two things. There's no Kiwi actually in the room to do anything with. I can see that there are some things in the tile set which need to be made transparent, and I can actually see those block objects. So I'll go back and fix some of those things up. If I look at my tiles, I'll turn those transparent, and that's one thing that will help. The other thing, now that I've placed those, I'm going to turn off the visibility and see if my room is starting to look better, and yes it is. So now I will put a Kiwi in the room. And see if I can manipulate that Kiwi. So I might put my Kiwi here, oh, I don't like there to start the game. And just check, can this Kiwi still do the same functions? Yes, tree trunk, that tree trunk serves as a block because there's a red block over the top of it. This one serves as a ladder. I can walk out onto my branches. And I can jump off branches. So my functionality is working. And now I have starting to get a little bit of a better visual. So we'll save that. And that's the end of working with tile sets.